So you talked about like not being healed. I'm not healed. I pushed it aside, but as an adult, I feel more anger because I do have conversations like this with certain people, and I look at the incredible man that God brought me. I look at the way he loves me, the way he's available to me, where I couldn't even accept it at first, and I still struggle. Because I'm like, what is that? What is it? I don't know.
Think that's a bar in itself.
Yeah.
Is being like not growing up with a father.
Yeah.
And then trying to be in a whole healthy relationship. And I remember going through that season and being like, where are you? The whole, 40 minutes of the episode, I'm like, my dad.
Yeah.
And this is the relationship I have with my dad. And this is how life was
When
when I lost him. And getting that information or finding out that information, I felt utterly alone. And then I was praying about it constantly because it felt like my heart was ripped from my body. And I'm like, Lord, I don't see you. I don't know where you are. I can't handle this alone. And my words of advice, if I had to give any, is even if it doesn't look like God is there, he is. Hi, welcome to She Said, She Prayed. I'm your host, Diamond.
And I'm Candi.
And we're here walking out life through the lens of faith and friendship.
Yes, we are. This is actually, I'm going to share with the audience, this is actually our first episode. So we're super excited, nervous, but we are very excited because we felt called to do this. So I'm excited. But, you know, I always like to do a little check-in. So tell me about a high from your week and also a low.
So the high is that we really are here and we are having this moment that we feel really called to do, to speak to people, to speak to our own experiences and to spend this time together. Because as moms, getting together in friendship is a hard task. So that's my high.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about healing father wounds and probably more so how they affect the way you see God and how they shape the way that you see God. So are you ready?
That is a good question. I mean, I'm processing it with you right now, actually, to tell you the truth, because we do talk about our themes. We pray about our themes beforehand. So when she put this one on the list, I was like, here we go. So am I ready? I don't know, but I am ready to have these honest conversations because I know that they're needed. So I'm going to dive right on in. What does it look like to love God honestly while still feeling wounded?
Obviously, I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube or whatever video platform this is, you can probably see I am visibly uncomfortable. I'll start by saying that I don't necessarily know what it looks like to be healed while doing it, but I can say that for me, it looked like falling on my face daily. It looked like constant prayer. It looked like I wasn't okay because I wasn't. I say wasn't past tense because I don't know if I'm okay now. I know that I'm better. It looked like lots of praying, lots of fasting. And honestly, for such a season that it looked like God didn't hear me because I was so broken.
That's real. For me, when you sent the topic, I was like, okay, I'm loving Jesus with daddy issues. I had to define what that was to me because I had a father, right? And I do have a father that I could call right now. I could text right now. What does that look like? And so I had to define what a father was because I'll be honest with you, my definition of what a father was when I was growing up is different now because I have a family and I have a husband who is a father. And so when you sent, I was like, I'm like, okay. I was like, well, did I have an absent father? I asked myself, my answer was yes. And here's why. I didn't have a present father. I had a provider in my life. And growing up, I thought that was a father. Like and this is honest to God, I thought the man was just there to bring home the bacon.
Oh, wow. Not to cut you off, but I will say not to excuse, but to give grace that a few generations ago, that was a father or the expectation. I think millennials, maybe a little bit older than millennials, like the expectation has changed. And that's not an excuse, but it is understanding, I guess.
Do you think that is across the board or a cultural thing, though? Is that in our community? Is that just what it is?
Because I meet people from all kinds of generations who are... I remember when I was pregnant with my son, one of the girls came back to work from maternity leave. And she was like kind of joking about the fact that her boyfriend hadn't changed a diaper yet. And the baby was like 5 months or something. And I was like, well, why? And she was like, you know how Mexican men are. So I don't think it's just... I think the expectations in a lot of cultures, I think it went viral that like Nelly was saying he wouldn't change a diaper.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
And he's like, well, I'll pay for a nanny. I'll do this. I'll do that.
Yeah, that was the case in my household. And I didn't question it, right? And then it wasn't so... I married my high school sweetheart. And so was around his family early. And I seen an active relationship. And it would be like years since I seen my father. But I was like, I was getting all the toys. I was getting all of that. So it wasn't until looking into someone I cared about household and being like, something's a little off.
Almost like it served as a mirror.
It served as a mirror. For me, I was still fine until I became an adult. And so you talked about like not being healed. I'm not healed. I pushed it aside. But as an adult, I feel more anger. For some reason, I can't close that door. But I am angry. I am not healed. And so, yeah.
Have you guys had a conversation?
No, he's different.
I'm curious. Is the podcast going to be the conversation?
I don't know. My mom tells me small things like he had sisters. Sounds like he was a caretaker for his family. And I think that's why I give him grace. Because I'm like, you can't be that bad of a person.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about healing father wounds. And Candi was telling us a little bit about her family and her relationship with her father. You just said because he was a caretaker for everyone else, you feel like he can't be that bad of a person. And it triggered something in me because I have a very interesting situation. I have a dad who I was very, very close to, who passed away, was murdered actually when I was 8. As a kid, I was sad, like I lost my dad. I remember being at school sometimes, like just going to the bathroom crying. And I remember kids coming, like going to the teacher, like diamonds in the bathroom crying.
Wow. At 8 years old.
At 8 years old. But it was hardest as I got older also. It was hardest when I got married and I had to find someone else to walk me down the aisle. Like just having to think about, I remember...
We have to pause and talk about that because I was the same way. Let's process that.
Well, for me, it was just, you have to think about it. For me, with my dad passing when I was little, I kind of got to hide behind going through life. And then when I got married, a couple things triggered. One, so I grew up in a single parent household. My husband has 2 parents in his house. So I also saw like how people have conflict, which I hadn't seen that. It was just kind of head of the household. These are the rules, which parent-child, that is the case. It's more so I didn't know how to resolve conflict because you don't have conflict with the head of the house. Like, that's just not allowed as a child. So anyways, I got to see that. But then changing my last name when my dad was no longer here anymore was a thing. And then figuring out who was going to walk me down the aisle. And I remember my mom being like, just have your uncle do it. And I have 2 uncles that I am pretty close to who I know would have done it. But it was just, I don't know if my husband realized, I don't know if anyone realized besides me internally that it wasn't just pick somebody. Part of me is missing.
Yes. So mine's different. My father could have flew out and went.
Did you invite him?
No.
You didn't invite him?
No. We had multiple. We were supposed to get married in 2020. COVID hit. He was invited to that one. So I got married in 2022 and it was small. We did 25. It was like family. And so when I was making that list and I was thinking about the importance of family, like
Oh.
They didn't make it. To fast forward, so he did not walk me down the aisle. My mom did. And I straight up told my mom, I said, you were the one who raised me. And I don't regret that decision, but it did hurt me. And here's why. Post-wedding, I have an older sister. He has a daughter.
You have an older sister
From
your
his
dad.
Yeah, from my dad. Different moms. I know her. I have other siblings as well.
Do you have a relationship with them?
No, I don't. But this older sister I'm speaking about, she did reach out. And she, out of everyone, she's the only one I actually do talk to. And like social media, I reached out to her post-wedding. And I don't talk to her all the time. Like, we're social media friends,
Right.
so we'll talk. But I actually picked up the phone and because it bothered me. And I was like, I didn't invite him. Like, I had to process that with someone who knows
Attached
him.
to him and your situation.
And actually knows him, because I don't. And she talked me through it, and she let me know, like, up into the wedding, she was like, he was having these weird conversations with me, like, talking about you. In my mind, I was like, maybe that bothered him. And then also in my mind, I was like, oh, feeling. Like, feeling you have some type of emotion. Like, it would be nice to feel like, hey, I wish I would have gotten invited because I care about you.
So how have you healed through this wound? How is healing working for you?
I'm not healed. But how am I taking steps to be healed? Jesus. Psalm 68, 5. And it said, a father, a defender of widows is God in his holy dwelling. I told you beginning, it was me processing what a father was, because I can't say I don't have one. But anyways, what I got is, he was like, what you feel you're lacking, I'm here.
I'm not gonna cry.
Like, no, what you feel you're lacking, I'm here. And anyone who knows me, that I have these, because I do have conversations like this with certain people, and I look at the incredible man that God brought me. I look at the way he loves me, the way he's available to me, where I couldn't even accept it at first, and I still struggle. I still struggle because I'm like, what is that? What is it? I don't know.
I think that's a bar in itself.
Yeah.
Is being like not growing up with a father and then trying to be in a whole healthy relationship. No, for real.
That's a topic right there. That's real.
That is a part of healing father wounds. Even as much as not just we can say, as much as like I can truly believe that he didn't do I got you. I can believe that 10 toes down, standing firm. And then I'm like, okay, but where you at when I'm triggered? Because you said one thing, my dad always brought me, like, I would call him, page him back in the day.
Yeah.
I would page my dad and be like, I want a pizza. And he would show up.
Like that. Oh, that's beautiful.
I mean, hours later, because he was living his life, but I got the pizza. So I remember being very triggered. My husband is a great husband. He is really one of those people who, like, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. The one time he did not. I remember wait a minute, because my dad would never.
Like, spoiled.
My dad would never. But then I think for me, I do get some healing. Part of it is scriptural. Oh, it's like the scripture that talks about like God knowing you in your mother's womb, that he knows every hair on your head, every like follicle. He can count how many for each person. And I remember being like, that is love. Like, to know something. I love my kids deeply, and I can't tell you how many hair follicles are on their head. I don't care to figure it out, to be honest. Like, it is not a desire of mine. So knowing that is helpful deep inside when I'm trying to walk through life as a whole healed person, but also having this gap in my life. I remember when my dad passed away thinking like, you left me. I remember having conversations with my mom.
Abandonment.
Yeah, because I felt like I wrote poems a lot back then. I would write a lot of poems, and I think she saw one of them, and we like had a conversation, and she's like, well, you know, he died. And I'm like,
and you're 8 too.
And I really felt like life just felt so hard then, because I knew as a child that things had changed. I knew that, like, I could see the worry and the stress on my mom, and I could see her trying to pull the pieces together.
And processing that at 8 years old, like, you're processing that, like, as an adult, adults can't process that. You're processing that at 8 years old. And I will say, what I know about you, we've been friends for a very long time. You know how to carry things in silence. And why I said that is because you said I watched my mom hurt in silence. What I noticed about you is you know how to carry things for people. You allow it to.
I think that's the thing is like she was silent to other people, but the silence was loud. I could see how, the reactions were a little bit shorter,
yeah.
snappy. I could see like this was being missed or that was being missed.
Right.
Or I could see the struggle and how hurt she was. Not that I didn't always do it, but I think that's probably when I started carrying things a little bit closer.
That's
because
what
I
I
felt
was,
like
yeah.
I didn't want to put more on her.
Yes.
I didn't want to make things harder for her. And like even to this day, and I've told you this, like it is very hard for me, and the Lord's still working with me on this, but it is so hard for me to ask people for things. It's so hard for me to ask for help.
We kind of bond over that too. Like
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I got it. And I remember like you told me, I remember that she told me in December and it hit me. She was like, because she knows me and she was like, you can always call me. I know you're private. I know you got it. I'm not saying you don't, but you can always call me. And I think that goes the same.
It does because I feel the weight when it's like, oh, this conversation is between us. This conversation, like I can vent here. I have a safe space and it won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I relate to having a friend or two that I could do that with.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always like, hey, you know what? You can trust me.
You understand.
But I started that conversation to say that because we're talking about healing father wounds because I was headed into I hold everything. I don't ask for anything. And it all is related to, in some degree, my father. And I was saying that to say, I have my own kids now. I can't tell you how much joy it brings me to watch my daughter ask anybody for help, but even more so her dad.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I can't tell you how much healing. Yes, I go to the Bible and I pray. And part of it is we don't always see answers to prayers right away.
No. Yeah.
So some of the prayers that I get to see, some of the beauty that I get to see in my children and their dad's relationship is like decades of praying that I've done.
Yeah, that's real. That is real. My husband, the way he loves on our child is actually and I mentioned earlier, like I still pick up the phone for my father. I think that's part of the reason. I think I see that relationship. I see how a father is, and I have hope. Like you are like that. You just don't know how to share it. Like I don't know if that's the little girl inside of me that's like hoping, but I'm like, I see it.
Do you guys, first of all, I'm curious, how many of you are experiencing like daddy issues?
Yeah.
How are you healing through those? Can you relate to any of this? Because I think I'm really curious because the part that stuck out for both of us was getting married. Like I would love to hear you guys' story about when you got married and who you found to walk you down the aisle. Like your mom walked you, my great grandmother who moved in with us when my dad passed away and has like lived with us forever, walked me down the aisle. You saying you had no regrets. That was like so much affirmation for me. Just going to look at those pictures, like I will always have that.
And I do, as she mentioned, we want to take these opportunities to engage. I also had another question. I wanted to know, and like I said, we really do want to hear from y'all, but what would it look like for whoever's going through any type of daddy issues, but still trying to figure it out? What would it look like for you to let God redefine what father means in your life? That question resonated with me, so I am interested to hear your thoughts. She said she prayed at gmail.com is where you will write us and we will respond. But I mentioned that question resonated with me because when I was doing my Bible study, I realized I need to relearn what father means. And I feel like there's a lot of people who need to relearn what father means because as a father, do they make you feel safe? Are they like what does a father mean to you? And I think that would help with some of our issues and healing.
So What does a father mean to you? What
What
does that
is
mean
that?
to
I
you?
don't even you know what's better for
Who?
me? I could tell you what a father doesn't mean to me
Okay.
or what I felt, and that's why I feel like I have daddy issues.
I
Um,
think that's great because I think sometimes we don't have words
yeah,
to put to our feelings,
yeah,
and starting with what we don't have
right,
is a good way to cycle back. Like, how can you attribute father to God
right.
if you can't say what a father
If you
is?
can't even say what a father is, and also acknowledge that, hey, I feel like I don't have that. And so I actually wrote it down because I was like, that's how I processed it. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know what a father is, but I can tell you what a father is not.
What
I
he
can
ain't.
tell you how I felt and why I feel I have daddy issues.
What he ain't.
And so what I wrote down was distant, unsafe,
Mhm.
unreliable, abandonment. And then after I processed that, I was like, okay, what is it? Then if he changed, what does that look like? And I was like,
Wait, before you go into
yeah,
it, if he changed,
yeah,
I would like to explore a little bit.
okay.
Have you felt like God was ever those things? And I do understand
That's
that feeling that
good.
way and it being true are different, but
That's
that
good.
also could be a place where we offer grace
That's good.
to the fathers that we have.
Have I 100%. But have there been times where I didn't even think about my heavenly father in that way, even though I know he is that protector, he's reliable,
Mhm.
he's our heavenly father. We go to him for those things he provides. But do I think about that all the time? No. Or is it I want that physical, I want my father that you gave me to be that.
Mhm.
So yes and no. Do I know that? Yes. Do I lean on that all the time like I should? No. What about you? That's a really good
I do.
question.
I feel like because I think I attribute the same things
Okay.
to God, like safety. Like a father is safety. So a lot of your nods is the opposite. Your yeses are my yeses to a father. Like a father is safety. A father is like unconditional love.
Yeah.
A father is dependable. A father shows up. A father like is trustworthy. Your word is like what you tell me and being and doing what you tell me you're going to do. I am very much a actions person.
Mhm.
So like for me a big thing is like don't tell me you love me if you're not showing me. And then I don't want to see it shown in the way that you show love. Like if you love me, figure out how to love
Your
me
love
the way that
language.
I am
Your love
loved.
language. Yes.
Because if I'm telling you I don't like something and you're constantly doing it, you're telling me you don't love me. I
You,
don't care what you're saying.
your actions is telling something different.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
so I'm very much so that's me. So anyhow, yes, I think in hindsight, they were not those situations, I can honestly say, because I'm lucky enough to be one of those people who God tends to show me the vision, which
Yeah.
I know everybody don't get that, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you guys experience situations where, like, things happen and maybe you don't understand and you're asking God, "Hey God, what is this for? What's going on?
Mm.
Why this? Why that?" And you don't have answers, but at some point, like you get the hindsight, you get the 2020.
Right.
I get that a lot where I can connect all the dots
Right.
later, like, oh, okay, maybe. So I think that helps too. I've talked before about like building the muscle of faith. If
Wow.
I can see it in hindsight 9 times out of 10, it's no surprise that my faith is up to here because I'm like, oh, it all makes sense. And there's the times where it don't. And there's the season where I'm walking through now with healing father wounds still. And we can go into more details
Yes.
later, but there is the times where I'm still walking through it and I'm still trying to figure out, Lord, why did I have to go through this? Why is this my story? Why do I feel so the question was like times where we feel like God himself does not meet those. Even through marriage, when there was hard times in marriage, because we good, y'all, but also it ain't always perfect.
No.
I remember feeling like abandoned. I remember
Mm.
feeling alone. There was another point in life, which I don't think we'll get to this episode, but okay, that I did find out that my dad was not my biological father.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that was like gut. wrenching for me. And I remember going through that season and being like, where are you? Because so much of, I mean, the whole, what was it, 40 minutes of the episode, I'm like, my dad, my dad, my dad.
Yeah.
And this is the relationship I have with my dad. And this is how life was
That was your
when
dad.
I lost him.
Yeah.
And getting that information or finding out that information, I felt utterly alone. And then I was praying about it constantly because it felt like my heart was ripped from my body. And I'm like, Lord, I don't see you. I don't know where you are. I can't handle this alone. And it felt like I was still alone. And nobody else around me could understand that. Even like my brother, who the situation is not the same for, who wanted to understand. I think even my mom, who there's I don't know, a little confusion around her parental figure. And she's like, well, it's just like me. But it's not. And I know it's not, because in some ways she always knew. So I think
it's definitely different. And even if it was the same, your
lived experience is
you
different.
said, I felt alone. That's period.
Yeah.
Even if other people are going through that and they felt alone, that was what you felt. That was what you expressed. What season by season? Okay, so your father. You talked about your father passing at 8 years old. Then you talked about learning something else. What season in life were you in when you learned that? Like, were you already married? Were you an active student? Like, what season in life were you in when you
married?
Okay, you were married,
and I was pregnant with my first kid. And I think that's why I felt, or a big part of why I felt so alone with God, because I was like, all of these transitions are happening. And when I had my first child, I'd stopped working. So there was all of these identity shifts that was happening. And it felt like I was pulling straws and they were breaking. Every lifeline I pulled felt like it was breaking. And I will say, because we're talking about healing father wounds and not sitting in them, is while I am not completely healed from that, if I'm being completely honest, I can now, at least through prayer, lots of prayer. I think I've read, I think it's First Colossians 12. And it says, even if I should choose to boast, I would not be a fool, because I would be speaking the truth. But I refrain so no one will think more of me than is warranted by what I do or say, or because of these surpassingly great revelations. So Paul is talking about he has these revelations and he's telling the church, and he's like, he has a thorn in his side if you continue to read. And he's saying that he asked God to remove it 3 times and God didn't. Basically because it keeps him dependent on him. And I won't say God gave it to me or let this be my story so that I could stay dependent on him. But I will say that I can't say I've always loved the Lord, and that's not new for me. But I can't say how actively I was praying in that season. I can't say how much I was fasting in that season. I can say that it forced me, like the thorn in Paul's side, to like, for years, because this is something I'm still walking out, that it forced me to really dig deep into myself and really dig deep into like what I believe. Because I think when we go through hard things, it's really easy to be like, well, God, why didn't you? And I'm not pretending I didn't. When we're talking about where did God not show up, I'm like, okay, Lord, well, you can do all things, like change the DNA results. It reminds me of Satan tempting Jesus when I think he was up on the mountain fasting. Y'all, I read the Bible, me and my like specific scripture knowledge, like go back and find it for yourself. Read the actual words, because we not about to like Eve up in here and be like, no, the Lord said no. So go back and find it, because I read it. I know stories, but I've had 2 kids and my memory don't work the same. But I think it was when he was fasting before he had to go to the cross and Satan showed up.
Yeah.
And Satan was like, you know, if you're God, make this food. If you're God, or I
Right.
can, and then Satan was like, oh, I can give you all of these things, as if he's not talking to the Lord, like
Right.
the Savior.
But I wanted to, because I know we got close soon, but I wanted to acknowledge something that you said. It was, I asked you what season in life you were in, and you were like, I found out I was pregnant and I was already married.
Yeah.
And I say that to say you felt alone, but God was preparing you. You had this life inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was already changing the situation. Like, you feel alone, I'm about to bless you with one of your
With the
greatest
Son,
gifts.
too.
With the
With
Son.
the
I think I talked about earlier, God is saying where there was lack, he will step in.
Mm-hmm.
Although you
Amen.
felt alone in that season, which is natural, that's a lot. He was already stepping in where it was like, you feel that void, I'm filling it for you. Gave you a hug. Like, so I know sometimes it's hard when we are in these certain situations where it's like, God, where are you? Why? I need you to show up. Sometimes when we're in that situation, we don't see it, but he's preparing, he's showing up.
Yeah.
And now you have a child where you could talk about, like you just mentioned, hey, I could call my daddy on my pager. I could beep beep, call me, beep me. You're letting him know, like, hey, this is what showing up looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and you mentioned we're still healing. I know there's so many people out there that are still healing. So let's talk about it. This is why we have these conversations. And so I want you gonna close this out. I want to hear your take and what
My
you should think
take
about.
is that I'm not going to cry on this episode. No, my take is honestly, truthfully, that be still and pray. And my words of advice, if I had to give any, is even if it doesn't look like God is there, he is. Because I think from Candy's story and from mine, we can both see in the other person's situation
Yeah.
where God showed up, where God was orchestrating through it.
Yeah.
And to be okay and be honest with talking to God about it, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I wasn't actually talking to the Lord. Like, hey, where you at, bro? Like,
This isn't good. Where
where
you
are
at?
you? I don't have one of those timid relationships with the Lord where we're just like, oh, we're going to pretend this didn't happen. We're not going to pretend that you didn't just not show up when I felt like I needed you, because then the Lord can be honest with me and show me where he did, like
Right.
even in this moment. So I
Absolutely.
think if I have to give any advice, it's to be real, to be raw. God is not, I think, as my first lady would say, God can handle our emotions. God can handle our feelings. Even in the Bible, Jesus talks about like being angry, being jealous. God is a God with feelings.
Right.
And I just don't
That's good.
subscribe to old school ministry that says like, you know, be quiet, don't question,
Right.
don't this. All through the Bible, we see people question. We see people speak up. We see people wrestle with things, and that's kind of what we're doing. We are not perfect people.
No.
This is a space of wrestling. It is. We are healing as we're having these conversations with you.
Yeah, and just to simplify, you are not alone, and that's why we're all talking through it together. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of our first episode of She Said She Prayed.
Okay. Also, sorry.
No, you're good.
Before you go, we want to do towards the end a little rapid fire question,
Yes.
so you can get to know more about us. This is our first season, and y'all don't know us like that, but we want to be friends.
We do.
So
Let's hear this question.
We got a couple. What's something people assume about you that's completely wrong?
That's a good one. What's people that I'm social? That I'm like, so I'm really, really nice. I'm not the most social person. Like I be at home.
Like not even a little bit social.
No, like I be at home and text me. Don't call me, FaceTime me. I'm nice.
I'm a don't call me person.
Are you?
Well, it's because I'm running around a lot with these kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just like send me a text. And when I
What's-
get a minute, I
yeah.
will. I mean, I might not get back to you for real. But
no, like I love how we do the voice. She taught me how to do. I don't know if you call them voice notes, audio.
yeah,
I love those because you do them in your own time. But I'm still getting your voice, and I still feel like you're here. But yeah,
but
what
isn't that
about you,
perfect?
friend? What?
Something people is
Yeah,
about me better.
I'm interested. What is it?
I think, and I'm like, just like send me a text. As social, I think, as people think that I am.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like
She come off as social, y'all. She's
I
social.
am social and I will make a friend in the room.
Yeah.
But like then I'm done. I need a lot of time to recharge, a lot of time to sit in my own thoughts, a lot. And I don't think people really know that about me because I'm always, hey, what you need?
I didn't know that about her. I will be. I think it comes off of me like, you said yeah, I actually knew that, but I didn't know that about you. Yeah, no, we need. Well, you do mention you'd be like, I need a reset sometimes. That's me.
I'm like, I will turn the phones off. I will turn computers off. I'm
Yeah.
not responding to nobody.
None.
Like I need
3 to 4 business days, especially if it's in a group chat. Them group chats be lit.
Why are we still doing group chats? Like, please stop.
No, I think it's gonna be a thing forever.
No, it stresses me
a lot.
out.
It does. It does. What's another one?
Let's see. What's your most irrational fear?
I need a reset
Yeah.
sometimes. I
will turn the phones off. I will turn computers off.
Yeah.
I'm not responding to nobody.
No.
Probably, I can't think specifically, but probably something with germs. Like I'm so germophobe.
She is.
And you were making my tea that I didn't even drink.
She was like, "Can you please wash my cup?" I was
my brand new cup that she just ordered. I'm like, I don't know what kind of cup dust is in there, but thank you guys so much for being a part of our first episode.
Yes.
We have shared with you guys things that we have probably not shared with anyone. So, welcome to the club. Please feel free to share your stories. Because we're friends now. So that's what friends do. Let's go through
life together.
Also, follow us on all the social medias, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you will find us. And stay tuned for the next episode.
Yes.
See you later. Bye.